Section 1. A Foundation of Distrust. History's Long Shadow. The central question is direct. Is Black culture under a coordinated attack? The facts lead to a clear answer. Yes, it is. New laws and governmental policies are systematically constricting the public spaces where Black people teach their history, learn about their world, create their art, protest for their rights. This essay will lay out the evidence, using recent information and the necessary historical context. Understanding this moment requires us to look not just at today, but at the patterns that came before. History is not just the past. It is the soil from which the present grows, and its lessons are vital for our navigation. History provides an essential lens for understanding the present. It offers a framework for recognizing familiar tactics and power dynamics. The FBI's counterintelligence program, known as COINTELPRO, is a stark example. This covert government operation, active from the 1950s through the 1970s, was explicitly designed to disrupt and neutralize Black political organizations. It sowed division-spread disinformation, used the full force of the state to dismantle movements for Black liberation. This program established a deep and warranted distrust of government power within Black communities, leaving a scar that informs how we interpret official actions today. Another crucial historical marker is the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. In that horrific event, a prosperous Black community in the Greenwood district was systematically destroyed by a violent white mob. For decades, the complicity of local officials was downplayed or erased from the official record. However, a landmark 2025 Department of Justice report finally affirmed what survivors had always known. Section 2. The Policy Gauntlet of 2025. A multi-front squeeze. The year 2025 has been marked by a rapid succession of policy shifts. These shifts directly impact Black cultural and educational life. First and foremost was the federal government's decisive move to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. On January 20th and 21st, a series of executive orders were issued. They instructed federal agencies to cease all DEI-related activities. The orders mandated the closure of DEI offices and the redirection of associated grants, all under the stated goal of promoting a merit-based opportunity framework. The impact was immediate. It sent a chilling effect through public universities and institutions that rely on federal funding. Some universities began to quietly review courses, and in some cases, consider eliminating them. Courses like anti-Black racism were on the chopping block. Administrators acted to avoid potential investigations and financial penalties. Second, the assault on literature and curriculum has intensified dramatically. The battle over books has escalated into a full-blown crisis for educators and librarians. PEN America's latest report documented 6,870 school book bans in 2024-25. A significant portion targeted books by Black authors, and books dealing with themes of race and racism. Similarly, the American Library Association tracked 821 formal challenges in 2024. These bans are reinforced by new state laws that restrict how educators can discuss history and race. That creates an atmosphere of fear, which leads to self-censorship and produces a whitewashed curriculum. Third, the fundamental right to protest is facing new legislative barriers. Since the start of 2025, numerous state legislatures have introduced anti-protest bills. Section 3. A complicated picture. Contradictions in funding and law. The policy landscape is not entirely monolithic, and it is crucial to acknowledge the areas of nuance and contradiction. One of the most significant complexities is the federal government's simultaneous investment in historically Black colleges and universities. In a widely publicized move, the Department of Education announced over $1,340 million in new grant funding for HBCUs in 2025. This infusion of capital is undeniably important, providing critical resources for infrastructure research student support at institutions that have been historically underfunded. This money helps sustain vital hubs of Black intellectual and cultural life, and its positive impact cannot be dismissed. However, policy analysts and civil rights advocates urge a cautious and comprehensive view of this funding. In this challenging environment, passive observation is not an option. There are practical, legal, and strategic steps that individuals and institutions can take right now to protect and advance Black culture and educational opportunities. First, institutions must pivot to and fully embrace lawful, race-neutral tools for admissions and hiring. This means robustly implementing strategies like place-based admissions, which prioritize applicants from under-resourced geographic areas. Income-based preferences. It also means redesigning application processes to place greater weight on personal essays, letters of recommendation that can illuminate a candidate's resilience, character, and experience in navigating systemic barriers without explicitly asking for their race. This is not a workaround, but, a constitutional path forward. Second, schools, libraries, universities. So, we return to the initial question. Is Black culture under attack? Based on the evidence from 2025, the answer is an unequivocal yes. If we define Black culture as the public and institutional ability to teach Black history, accurately publish and celebrate Black voices, gather in protest for justice, maintain DEI offices, maintain Black studies departments, then the conclusion is unavoidable. Executive orders, state-level legislation, targeted enforcement actions is systematically shrinking the spaces where this culture can thrive.